They strike again. Not really striking, but fans are noticing a huge issue with Ace Ventura Pet Detective. Try to guess, without even reading it, try to guess what it is. You done? Good, you're probably right. There's a huge issue with Ace Ventura Pet Detective, which fans are now noticing. In the 25 years since it first hit cinemas, the film hasn't aged well, as there is too much homophobia and transphobia. Congratulations to everyone who guessed that there's some kind of phobist or ism involved. Congratulations. Little Capuchin. One of the biggest drawbacks of comedy is that it doesn't always age well. Some people are rewatching Friends, for instance, and have argued there are moments in the hit comedy series that are homophobic, misogynistic, or transphobic. One such comedy is Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. This 1994 classic featured Jim Carrey, the time of his life playing maverick investigator Ace, as he looked into the disappearance of Snowflake. Oh, the irony. The Miami Dolphins team mascot. That's exactly what everyone who's complaining about the movie is. A freaking snowflake. UFC commentator and radio host Joe Rogan has condemned Ace Ventura: Pet Detective as insanely transphobic. In an episode of his show, Rogan discussed his shock at realizing how super transphobic the 1994 film is during a conversation with his guest, New York Times opinion writer Barry Weiss. You know what I made the mistake of doing yesterday? I watched Ace Ventura: Pet Detective with my 8-year-old and my 10-year-old, Rogan said, as their conversation veered towards controversial films. I didn't realize how transphobic that fucking movie is, Rogan added. Rogan then discussed the main plot twist in which a detective played by cisgender woman Sean Young is revealed to be transgender. All the cops all the cops are throwing up. It's off the charts, he added. Everyone is freaking out. It's so insanely transphobic. Rogan's guest, Barry Weiss, added, when I saw the movie, I was 10. Transphobia was not a thing. So why is it now? Why can't we just let comedy be what it is? Just that. Comedy. Because these are the same people who have no problem shitting all over Christians, shitting all over conservatives, shitting all over white people, but the minute you start making fucking jokes about trans people or gay people, oh, suddenly that's fucking crossed the line. As I've said before, either one thing, if one thing is bad, it's all bad. If one thing is allowed, it's all allowed. You can't gatekeep comedy. Look what happened with SNL. All they do is just one-sided comedy. It's all left-wing crap because they're sticking to what they know is safe. Because you don't want to upset the one fucking percent of the population that is going to be all, this offends me. Now it is a thing. That's good. That's good news. Not only that, but when Ventura realizes Finkel and Einhorn are the same person, and he remembers sharing an embrace with Einhorn, his reaction involves vomiting, vomiting and crying in the shower. Many other, because it's Jim Carrey. The overreaction, especially in that movie. Many others seem to agree on Twitter too, with one writing, have you ever rewatched a movie from your childhood and realized shit is not only unfunny, but hella, I'm sorry, we're how old now and you're still saying hella? That's something I said when I was a teenager when I was living in California. That's not something a grown-ass person should be saying. But hella offensive? What the fuck? Why was I allowed to watch Ace Ventura? Because it was a comedy. And because people weren't freaking tender snowflakes back then. That's why you were allowed to watch it. Another user also said, At the very least, it's homophobic. Ventura reenacts the shower scene from The Crying Game, a film about a trans woman, as a response to having kissed a man he thought was a woman, and it's played for laughs. Grim. And this is causing, it is people, literally, people are dying because of it. It's literal violence. Someone else wrote, it's base level comedy with no intelligence to it. I don't think it's either trans or homophobic as such, but it's just touching the edges of being offensive. I do believe there's a difference. You can offend without hating something. How many? Okay, we're almost done here. God. Another person commented, Ace Ventura Pet Detective is one of the most problematic movies ever made. Transphobic. This goes without saying. The dolphin's name is Snowflake. Yeah, the alt-right's degrading name for people who fight for social justice issues. So you're saying that the word snowflake that was really conceived to describe these people not too long ago is somehow degrading and everything for uh, being a name in 1994? Were we really that ahead of the curve? Degrading name for people who fight against for social issues. Makes fun of mental illness, mental hospital scene. And a third added, oh wow, the end of Ace Ventura Pet Detective is super transphobic. Some others have defended the movie, one person tweeting, so people are just now watching Ace Ventura Pet Detective for the first time and are saying it's too offensive. Yeah, it is, because that's what we did then. We watched offensive shit without getting fucking offended like a bunch of bitches. End rant. Another argued the character played by Sean Young was not trans. He was a man hiding as a woman to exact his revenge. Lighten up, it wasn't about gender discrimination. Um, Jim Carrey said in recent years that the movie would not have been made the same jokes if it was made today, obviously, because everyone today is a fucking snowflake. The 90s were a complicated time for homophobia and transphobia in movies, and especially in comedy. Any comments? I mean, not only this, but actually, let me pull it up because it's just one thing after another. Give you another example. Gen Z teens brand American Pie deeply problematic after watching it for the first time. American Pie. The iconic 90s movie American Pie has not aged well, and it seems teens are voicing their concerns. Now, we've all heard of cancel culture. Traditionally, the term cancel, blah, blah, blah. But it's a controversial topic. Canceling someone, blah, blah, blah. J.K. Rowling. Uh, get to where? Now, on July 9th, 1999, a movie burst into movie theaters, the likes of which the public has never seen before. It was raunchy, obscene, hilarious. It featured a teenage boy doing unspeakable sexual things to the most American of desserts, the apple pie, which is a freaking hilarious scene, especially when his dad comes home. Eugene Levy is freaking amazing. When they're sitting at the table and the pie is just a bunch of crumbles, and he's just like, we'll just tell your mother that we ate it all. The dude comes home, sees his son fucking on apple pie, and instead of being, over the top angry or whatever, he's just like, we'll just tell your mom that we ate it all. As his son sits there looking down in shame. I mean, and then throughout the entire movie, him talking about like masturbation and he brings in like a bunch of magazines for Jim, and looks like some kind of tropical plant. Now see how she's looking? It's like she's looking at you saying, "Hey, big boy." I mean, Eugene Levy is great. Um, it was called quite appropriately American Pie, and it was a monster hit amongst its teenage audience. However, Gen Zers, of course, have been watching the classic movie and finding it deeply problematic. The biggest freaking word that they can use. Comedy has been ruined today. Only a handful of brave comedians left, like Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr, and Joe Rogan, which apparently not, because Joe Rogan was apparently complaining about friggin' Ace Ventura. Satire comedy has been destroyed. I dare people to watch today. I dare people today to watch Blazing Saddles. Yeah, and Mel Brooks outright, he's like, yeah, I would never be able to make this movie today. They would probably have a heart attack. One person wrote. The teens had a big problem with the whole host of movies. Vice reports. The whole movie is completely ridiculous, especially how the only thing the male characters care about is having sex. They're willing to say and do whatever it takes just to convince the girls to have sex with them. I don't know if that was realistic when the film came out. That's called being a teenager. When you were a teenager, I'm sure you did what you could to get sex too. So you still see it. Guys telling girls what they want to hear. They have sex. Girl gets knocked up. Then the guy disappears. So it wasn't just a movie thing. It is a real life thing, and it's still happening now. Um, I don't know if that was realistic when the movie came out, but I think men treat women a lot more respect and equality now. Taylor, 16, instead of American Pie. The part where Jim and the other male characters filmed the foreign exchange. Shannon Elizabeth, man. Shannon Elizabeth. Need I say more? Uh, Exchange student in his room is deeply problematic. The film doesn't even question the morality of doing it. It's a fucking comedy. Why can't these kids just accept comedy for what it is? Everything has to have some kind of moral thing to it, or, well, that doesn't make any sense. Maybe it's not supposed to. It makes it seem like a joke because it is a joke. Like, it's freaking dudes trying to get this girl naked and everything. It's supposed to be funny because the occurrences that happen while it's going on, and then they get her to the point where she's pretty much naked, and then she's taking his hand, and then he like comes and all that, and then he like does it again, and then he goes to school the next day, and everyone's like, it's supposed to be a joke. It's a joke leading up to the punchline, and this is what these kids fail to understand. The blah blah blah. It makes it seem like it's a joke and that the dudes are all legends for getting the plan to work. It's a huge violation of privacy. These people aren't real. They're movie characters. And definitely a sexual offense for Jim to film her, let alone to share that with his friends. There's no way a teen film made now would allow it. Now instead they're just making movies and things where teens get knocked up by Satan himself. Or cuties. Yeah, those people didn't have a problem with that movie now, did they? It's art. It's meant to be thought-provoking. It's a coming-of-age story. Yeah, you defend the movie Cuties, but suddenly, for some reason, American Pie is a problem. Uh, there's no way a teen film made now would allow it. Hannah, 17, agreed. It's it's bordering on incel. You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. It's bordering on incel attitudes, the way these guys in the films think that they deserve sex, and how they seem to think that all women are good for rather than wanting a loving relationship with somebody they respect. And what happens in the end? They all find the girl that they love and respect. What do you know? Did they even finish the damn movie? I think if you were a teenage boy watching this, you'd basically feel entitled to behave how you wanted to towards women. No. No. Olivia, 18, concluded. Where do you stand on the issue? It's a fucking movie. Get the fuck over it, you bunch of miserable, whiny little babies. You are the reason why we can't have comedy because of this. You get, well, I don't think you'd be right. He committed a sexual offense. He's a made up character in a movie. Get the fuck over it. Again, they're finding problems with this, but all the crap that's being put on Disney Plus and shit like that, they're like, oh god, stunning and brave. Oh god, I came so hard at the representation. Oh my god, what's that? A show about a teenager having sex with Satan, becoming knocked up. Oh my god, I'm so gonna watch that. That is stunning and brave. The hardships of being a single mother, especially when the father is Satan himself and he doesn't want to pay attention to no kid. Stunning and brave. But a fucking comedy, American Pie, somehow problematic. Get the fuck over yourselves. Get the fuck over yourselves. We have comments. No. Again, they didn't finish the movie because they would have seen at the very end that it wasn't about the sex. That all the people that they tried to have sex with, they did genuinely care about them. You know, so it's like by the end, you have Jim and Michelle. He asks her out because it's like, oh well, she's weird. She's like, it's one time at band camp, and she's just really weird. And then he finds that he does genuinely care about her, and then they get married. Uh, Oz and Heather, same thing. They find out they genuinely care about each other, and then in like the second and third movie, still together. Kevin and Vicky, same thing. So these guys are trying to have sex, but at the end of the movie, they realize that it's not about the sex, it's about that connection and finding someone you actually care about. Did these fucking kids even finish the movie? Or did they get halfway and like, this is problematic. I'm triggered and I'm not watching this anymore because it's offensive and people shouldn't be acting like this and this comedy is just, it's, So, Ace Ventura, American Pie. I'll just tell your mother that we ate it all. And then was it American Pie 2 with the freaking super glue, and he's got the porn in his, the tape in his hand, and he's got his other freaking hand pretty much glued to his balls. And then they've got to make the trip to the hospital to get him unstuck. And again, Eugene Levy as his dad is amazing because it's just like, it's almost like he's seen worse because nothing seems to faze this guy. It's like at the very end, he's like, don't forget your penis cream. It's like this guy has seen some shit. You know, American Wedding with the when they're in the restaurant and Michelle's under the table, and his dad, Jim's dad is, oh, you walk me out to my car and blah blah blah, and Michelle pops out, and his dad's like, it's like he's seen some shit. He's never really super surprised or angry. It's like, eh, I did crazy stuff when I was a kid too. Um, but yeah, they're just supposed to be fun movies, funny movies, fun movies, comedy. You're not supposed to think too hard or too deeply into comedy. Most comedies aren't supposed to be thought provoking. They're meant to be stupid. They're meant to be like in a funny way. It's not like SNL where it's just flat out stupid now. SNL used to be hilarious, but now, but yeah, movies, of course, Gen Z, because why wouldn't it be them? And I'm sure people my age too, going back and like, oh my god, it's so problematic. My MILF. I mean, because of I think it was pretty much started by American Pie with the whole MILF thing with Stifler's mom. I mean, because of American Pie, we got that whole MILF type thing, and and that unfortunately that woman is forever dubbed as Stifler's mom. So, but anyways, did you guys see American Pie in theaters when it came out? Do you still like the movies, or are they problematic? Let me know below. And same thing with Ace Ventura. Did you find it problematic, or is it just a comedy that should be appreciated as a comedy? Let me know below. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.